Hello. So when I tried to learn website development, I came across with CSS grid system that I think is really good. You can set each child span, column, and row so the child can have its own sizing. In here, if you see, the child has different size on each child, and I'm wondering if Flutter have does, because in Flutter, default grid view, you can only have one aspect ratio, and all the children will have the same size. So just curious I tried to find a package for that, and I found this package, Flutter Staggered Grid View. It has a staggered grid widget that can laying out widgets like CSS grid system like this. I have the implementations right here, but it has a slight difference. If you notice, this staggered grid, it can place or it can set each child cell count, cross and main, so it can have different sizing on its children, but it has a slight difference. If you notice here, item number 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, it has the same place, but for the item number 5 in CSS, it plays after item number 4, but in staggered grid, it plays after item number 3. I suspect that the implementations of this package, Flutter Staggered Grid, is to prioritize to filling out all available space. Like in here, space after item number 3 is actually available for item number 5. So in Flutter Staggered Grid, item number 5 is placed after item number 3. So it prioritizes to filling out all available space, not the children, not the child orders. And by that, you can leave intended blank space like this in Flutter Staggered Grid, or you can, but with extra step. So it is just because I'm curious. In here, I have created a widget that mocks CSS grid system. I called it dynamic grid. In here, if you see, dynamic grid is have the same layout like CSS grid system. Item number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 have the same placing or have the same layout in both CSS grid system and my implementations of dynamic grid. For example, if you change this number 5 row span, I change this to 2, it will size across the row. It will size across the row. If I change this to 3, it will size across the row until it take 3 rows, because I set it to 3. And in here, in my dynamic grid, I can also do that. For example, this row I set for now is 1. If I set it to true, it will stretch, or it will have sizing with 1 column and 2 rows. If I set this to 3, it also will have 3 rows as the height. So it really mocks the CSS grid system, and I can leave the intended blank space if I want without any extra step. And in here, for the dynamic grid view, actually I just use one widget, which is flow widget. And the algorithm or where the layouting is live is in this delegate. I create a dynamic grid delegate that calculate on how things should laying out. And yeah, I built this dynamic grid system that mocks CSS grid system in Flutter.